A lot of people don't know what a people pleaser is. Therefore, you wouldn't even know that it's hurting you and how much it's hurting you until you need something and there's nobody to ask. At least you feel that there's nobody you can ask when you need help. But before you even find out anything about yourself and why you do the things you do, you have to dig deep. What might have made you a people pleaser? I want you to dig deep into you to see if this is your situation. Before I go that deep, I want to explain this to you, okay? I would call myself a recovered people pleaser. I'm so tough, you could have never convinced me in the past that I was a people pleaser. I say no when I want to say no, and I say yes if I feel like saying yes. But if I don't feel like saying yes, I'm not afraid to say no. That was my attitude. That's what I thought. But see, there are many ways that people can manipulate you into doing something for them, especially when they know you like them or that you love them. So that includes family members as well. Co-worker asked me one time to give her a ride home. And I didn't want to because that's my calm time. You know, when you get off of work, you just want to chill, you know, decompress. And because she was my supervisor, I said yes. I paid a very high price for saying yes because that turned into months of me driving her because she was my supervisor. If I would have said no the first time with no excuses, I don't have to give an excuse that it's my car. No, I got things that I do after work if I wanted to give an excuse. And that would have been the end of that. I went to school as an adult, 36 years old. I enrolled in college. And this young girl, I knew her through, you know, the younger people in my family. She asked me, can you give me a ride? It was late at night. Class let out late. So I said, okay. And I gave her a ride. No problem. It was nighttime. She's a child. The next day, she was standing by my car waiting for me. I'm an adult. She is a child to me, you know. She was probably 19, 20, and I'm 36 years old. And instead of saying, hey, what are you doing? No, I just gave you a ride yesterday. You should have asked or whatever. I just was like, oh my God. And I let her get a ride. And then every day she was by my car. During that time, I used to smoke cigarette. That's my space. I can do what I want. And I said, you don't mind me smoking. I don't know why I did that, but I'll tell you where it stems from, okay? And she said, actually, I do. She mind me smoking in my car. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to why I like being by myself, because, you know, smoking is not something that I was ever proud of. And I never did it in front of people. So if you didn't catch me privately smoking, you would have never known I smoked for many years. And I was like, really? I don't remember if I put the cigarette out or what. They opened the window. I might have said, you know, stood my ground, open the window. And then one day I had to tell her, you know, I can't give you a ride every day because I do smoke and this is my space, blah, blah, blah. And eventually she stopped coming to my car. But it was a few times, like for a week or more, she would just stand by my car without asking me or wait for me after class or like stalking me. And I didn't put this little girl in her place. So I moved to a new town and I met a group of women in different settings. One was at work, one was the manager of the office, the rental office where I was renting an apartment, and, you know, we became acquainted, you know, friends. I'm not going to say friend, but you know what I mean. And after being there for a while, they created this, what people call gang stalking and targeted scheme against me. And it hurt me so deeply. I felt like a 5-year-old, literally. And one day I said to myself, how do they know how to hurt me? These women don't even know me. How do they know how to hurt me? And I think they found out what kind of person I was because, you know, they're narcissistic, you know, they scheme on people. So maybe they would try things with me or ask me things. I'm not sure, but the way I would respond to them, they will know whether or not I was a person that they can do these things to, whether it would be effective or not, because of things that they tried. Maybe they asked me for a ride and I was like, come on, and maybe somebody else, and da-da-da. But I always thought that I had in me to say no if I didn't want to. Now let's go to where it stems from, okay? When I was a young girl, I remember my family was, oh no, don't say that. You know, because there was something was going on in the house, and you know how kids, how we think. We're talking about small children, maybe before 10 years old. And I would say, why don't you just say this and that? And they would say, always say things like, don't say that. No, that's not nice. Oh no, you don't want to hurt their feelings, or this and that. So now I grew up into an adult and I'm having relationships, romantic relationships. And during a disagreement, the person would say whatever they wanted to me. And I would always stop myself where I know I could hurt their feelings, even though my feelings were hurt. But I'm living this life, I'm an adult, and not even paying attention to the fact that they're saying what they want. They're being free and saying what they want, but I am limiting myself to what I can say due to my upbringing. That's not nice. It'll hurt their feelings and blah, blah, blah. Right? Don't say that, because I know how much I can hurt somebody with the things that I have, because I already know I can read people to a certain extent, especially if you are in my personal life. I already know the things that your insecurities. So I never used them. And so whenever I heard an argument with two people, I'd be like, oh, don't say that. I would repeat what I heard when I was a child. So it kind of molded me into a person that would take certain things because I think I'm tough enough to take them, not knowing they're hurting my feelings. Like I would rather leave a relationship before I use what I know can hurt you, because I couldn't believe you would hurt me that way because of my upbringing. So that's when you have to dig deep. If you have a cup, just think about your cup. This is your cup. And you're always pouring into somebody else's cup. Can you do this for me? Can you take me there? Can you? And then you got so many cups and everybody's asking you for a little bit. And when you need, you don't even feel comfortable asking other people. Think about it. Why? You feel lonely, alone. You can't tell nobody your stories. And if you ever try, like me, two people have told me, oh my God, you, Giselle? They can't believe that I need. But they're always coming to me. And whenever I feel something or I need something or I'm, in my head about something, I feel like felt like I had nobody to go to. And whenever I tried, they shut me down by saying, it's almost like shaming me for feeling, for wanting to, vent. And then one day I woke up and I realized I made it so. I made it so. My cup was empty when I was thirsty because I kept giving to everyone else. So I knew that these people, they weren't all bad, so to speak, because I was the common denominator in all these situations. So I had to change something about me. So when these women that I was talking to you about earlier, that didn't know me well, knew exactly how to hurt me to my core, and didn't even know me, but for a few months, couple of months, I knew there was something within me that I had to fix. And that's when I found out that I was a people pleaser. So I have recovered from that. It's because if anybody asks me for a ride, I already told you just now how I felt about it. That is my space for me, in my time to decompress. There was another situation where one of my managers, would ask me to go for lunch. And then, oh, yes, sit down with me. Next thing you know, she's taking up my lunch hour, because if I didn't have lunch with her, she would punish me. Because see, when you are in a, a low vibrational human beings, when you don't find out who you are, people take advantage of it. So you start to meet the same type of people in different settings, different cities, wherever you go. So you are always going to be the one taken advantage of, because these people can see you come a mile away. They can tell that they can do these things to you. So if they want to make up a friend, they'll make you their friend. Right? And if they're in a position higher than you, they'll take advantage of the fact that you don't know how to say no. You don't know how to stand up for yourself. Okay? And this includes family members, your adult children, and stuff like that. You have to say, you have to put you first. And that's what I want to do. That's why I'm rebranding my channel. So I always wanted to empower women, because the things that I learned about myself, they were hidden. I had to dig deep and find them. Do you understand? You don't want to continue pouring into everybody's cup that needs you. That is not your job. Do you understand? And then when you're thirsty, you just feel dry and empty, because you've been given to everyone else. And that makes you a people pleaser. You ever been in a situation where everybody's saying no, and your boss is like, I need you to stay late, and you know, I don't mind, and the lights, everybody left, and you're the one there, and you don't get rewarded for that. Because when it's time to let people go, you might be one of those people, and then you're gonna feel bad and say, oh, I sacrificed this, I gave them all my time, I stayed late, this and that, and these people just got there and they kept them. You can't blame them for something that you did to yourself. You didn't stand up for yourself. These other people stood up for themselves. So you're feeling so bad. You're even feeling worse because of what you sacrificed yourself for other people. That's why I feel so bad, because of all that you did for them. And what was your reward? Nothing. You don't get rewarded for that. Okay, you don't get rewarded for that. So it's time for you to reclaim your power. It's time for you to dig deep and try to find out, where did this come from? Where does it stem from? Is it my childhood? Is it this and that? Why am I letting people in relationships say whatever they want to me, or take advantage of me, or take my money, and I still stay there? Okay, it started somewhere. There's some part of your life that created the human being that you are, that you can't even see. People pleasing is something that a lot of people don't know that they're doing, and you are a target for manipulators. Okay? Fix it.